Have you ever found yourself waking up feeling overwhelmed with thoughts racing through your mind about what the day will bring? Maybe you've been dealing with stress, anxiety, or even that nagging feeling that life just doesn't feel as fulfilling as it once did. I want to talk to you today about something that we all struggle with: finding happiness in our busy, often chaotic lives. But what if I told you that true happiness doesn't come from outside circumstances? It doesn't depend on how much money you have or whether everything is perfect in your life. In fact, according to Buddhist wisdom, happiness comes from within. Let's start by diving into this wisdom, and I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to create more peace and joy every day. So, how can Buddhist wisdom help us tackle the stress and dissatisfaction we often face? Well, one of the key teachings of Buddhism is the understanding of the impermanent nature of life, what we call impermanence. Life changes all the time. The good and bad moments are fleeting, and clinging to either one can lead to suffering. The more we try to hold on to things that aren't permanent, the more stressed and unhappy we become. Buddha taught that life is full of both joy and pain, but how we react to these experiences is what determines our level of happiness. It's not about avoiding difficulties or seeking endless pleasure. Instead, it's about learning how to approach each moment with awareness and balance. Now, let's explore the first powerful way to bring more happiness into your life: mindfulness. Mindfulness is about being present, fully present, in each moment. This means when you are working, walking, or even eating, you are paying attention to the sensations, the sights, the sounds, and the thoughts that come up without judgment. It sounds simple, but it can be life-changing. Buddhism teaches that mindfulness helps you detach from your usual mental patterns of worry, judgment, and overthinking. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to see the world and yourself with fresh eyes. You don't get stuck in your thoughts or emotional reactions. Instead, you begin to live more fully in the present, which is where true happiness resides. I want to share a simple mindfulness practice with you. It's called the breath awareness technique. When you wake up in the morning, take a few moments to sit quietly. Close your eyes and bring your attention to your breath. Inhale deeply, then exhale slowly. As you breathe, notice how your body feels. Are you tense, relaxed? Just observe. And as thoughts pop up, simply acknowledge them and gently bring your attention back to your breath. Try this for just 5 minutes each morning. This simple practice, which Buddha himself advocated for, can significantly reduce anxiety and help you create more calm and happiness in your life. It's not about changing the world around you. It's about changing how you respond to the world. To illustrate this point, let me share a story from a friend of mine. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had been going through a very tough time. Her work life was stressful, her relationships were strained, and she often found herself exhausted and anxious. But after starting her mindfulness practice, she noticed a profound shift. Rather than reacting with frustration and anger when things didn't go her way, she began responding with calmness and awareness. She found that she could still face challenges, but with a clearer mind and a more peaceful heart. Remember, the key here is practice. Over time, mindfulness will become a natural way of being, and you'll find that the peace you seek is already within you. The more you practice, the more it becomes a part of your daily life. As we wrap up part 1, I want to leave you with this. Finding happiness starts with the decision to be present in the moment. It may not happen overnight, but every small step you take toward mindfulness will bring you closer to the inner peace and joy that you deserve. Now that we've discussed mindfulness, let's move to the second powerful way to create happiness in daily life: compassion. Compassion, in Buddhist wisdom, is not just about being kind to others. It's about being kind to ourselves, too. Buddha taught that all beings deserve love and compassion, but often, we forget to extend that same love to ourselves. We are so quick to be critical or harsh with ourselves when we make mistakes. Yet, true happiness starts with self-compassion. In Buddhism, we talk about loving-kindness meditation as a way to nurture this compassion. It involves focusing on sending love and good wishes to yourself and others. You start with yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live with ease. Then you expand that loving kindness to others. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. This practice can feel a bit awkward at first, but it has a profound effect. The more you offer kindness to yourself, the more you'll be able to offer it to others. And the more kindness you spread, the more happiness you create. Let me share a story about a woman named Linda, who had struggled with feelings of inadequacy for most of her life. She was always focused on what she was doing wrong, which made her feel unworthy of love or happiness. But after practicing loving-kindness meditation, she began to soften her inner dialogue. She stopped criticizing herself so harshly and started recognizing her inherent worth. It was through this compassion that she was able to embrace her life with more joy. Now let's turn to the third powerful way to create happiness: letting go of attachment. In Buddhism, attachment is seen as one of the root causes of suffering. We become attached to things, people, ideas, or even our own identities. When these things change or disappear, we suffer. Buddha taught that the key to happiness is letting go of these attachments and accepting the natural flow of life. This doesn't mean we stop caring or stop enjoying life's pleasures. It means we stop relying on external factors to define our happiness. When we learn to let go of attachment, we free ourselves from the cycle of craving and disappointment. You might be wondering, how do we start letting go? Well, one practice is to become more aware of your attachments. Are there things in your life that you are holding on to too tightly? Are there expectations or desires that you can't seem to release? Once you start to identify these attachments, you can begin to loosen your grip on them and accept change as part of life. Applying Buddhist wisdom to everyday life and final thoughts. Now, let's tie everything together with some final thoughts on how we can create lasting happiness. We've talked about mindfulness, compassion, and letting go. All of these practices take time and dedication, but they can transform your life if you commit to them. As we continue on this journey of personal growth, remember that happiness doesn't come from perfect circumstances. It comes from how we navigate life's ups and downs. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that everything is interconnected. When we practice mindfulness, compassion, and non-attachment, we begin to live in harmony with ourselves and others. This brings true peace and happiness. In your daily life, be mindful of your thoughts and feelings. Treat yourself with kindness, and recognize that happiness is not something to chase. It's something to cultivate within. Embrace each moment as it comes, without holding on too tightly to anything. And remember, as Buddha said, happiness never decreases by being shared. So as we wrap up, I encourage you to take a moment right now and reflect on what you've learned. How can you begin to incorporate these practices into your life? You don't have to do everything at once. Start with small steps and allow yourself the grace to grow. And as always, be gentle with yourself. The path to happiness is a journey, not a destination. Thank you for being here with me today. May you find peace, joy, and love in every step of your journey. Remember, happiness is not out of reach. It's already within you. Take the wisdom you've learned today and make it a part of your daily life. The more you practice, the more you'll see the beauty in every moment. You deserve to live a life filled with peace and joy, and I'm here to support you every step of the way.